In a candid and emotional interview or documentary-style moment, Jungkook reflects on the early days of getting his tattoos, how he felt insecure, how he avoided short sleeves, and how even his own image in the mirror made him question his choices. At the time, public reactions were mixed, and Jungkook internalized much of that negativity. However, during one quiet moment in the BTS dorms or backstage, Jin noticed Jungkook constantly tugging on his sleeves and avoiding eye contact when his tattoos were visible. Jin, known for being brutally honest but full of warmth, sat him down and gently said, "You shouldn't be ashamed. Your tattoos are a part of your story. They don't change the fact that you're a golden boy." This short but powerful statement stuck with Jungkook for years. He later shared that Jin was the first person to speak to him openly about his tattoos without judgment, just love and support. Since then, Jungkook has grown into his own skin, appearing confidently on stage and in photo shoots with his tattoos fully visible. And he credits part of that transformation to Jin's quiet encouragement, showing how a single moment of genuine support can spark long-term confidence. The story reflects themes of vulnerability, self-expression, and the strength of brotherhood, highlighting the emotional bond between BTS's eldest and youngest. It also speaks to many fans who have struggled with accepting their own identities in the face of societal expectations. Jungkook never spoke much about the exact moment he began to feel comfortable in his own skin. But when asked during an off-camera interview in early 2025 about how he overcame the anxiety of showing his tattoos publicly, he paused for a moment, then smiled quietly and said, "It was because of Jin Hyun." It was during the summer of 2022, long before he confidently flaunted his inked arms during global performances or magazine shoots. Jungkook would often wear oversized hoodies or long sleeves, even in sweltering heat. Fans noticed, some speculated, but no one really knew what he was going through internally, how deeply self-conscious he had become. At the time, the world was watching his every move, and the tattoos, though deeply personal, made him feel exposed. Behind the scenes, Jin had noticed it too. One evening, after rehearsals had ended and most of the members had gone their separate ways, Jin found Jungkook sitting alone in the corner of their practice room, scrolling through pictures of himself from a fan event. He had zoomed in on a photo of his own forearm, where part of his army tattoo peeked out from under a rolled sleeve. He looked distant. Jin later recalled in a behind-the-scenes vlog, like he wasn't seeing himself, but what people might say about him. Jin didn't hesitate. He sat next to him, took a quick glance at the phone, and without asking for context, simply said, "You shouldn't be ashamed. Your tattoos, what do they mean to you?" Jungkook hesitated. "They're parts of me. Memories.
Pain, joy, growth."
But people only see rebellion. To that, Jin responded gently but firmly. "People who don't know you will always find reasons to talk. But the people who love you, they see everything you are. And I see everything you are. And you're not your ink. You are the person who chose them." It was a moment Jungkook would later describe as life-changing. That night, he stopped hiding. Slowly, he began rolling up his sleeves during rehearsals. He wore short-sleeve shirts more often, even when fans or reporters were around. He started seeing his tattoos not as vulnerabilities, but as expressions of survival and stories worth showing. And when he finally revealed his new chest tattoo months later, standing confidently during a live show with no shirt under his jacket, fans around the world saw not just the artwork, but the growth, the courage, the healing. In that moment, standing at the center of a roaring stadium, Jungkook locked eyes with Jin, who was watching from the side of the stage, a soft smile on his face and his hand raised in a quiet thumbs up. They didn't need to say anything, because Jungkook knew Jin had been there from the start, not just as a teammate, but as a protector. As someone who helped him believe that self-expression wasn't something to fear, it was something to celebrate. And now, years later, as the youngest member of BTS continues to embrace who he is, on stage, off stage, in tattoos, in lyrics, in silence, the memory of that single conversation remains one of the most pivotal in his journey. As Jungkook's confidence grew, so did the meaning behind his tattoos, not just to himself, but to millions of fans around the world. Each inked symbol became a page from a diary he never wrote in words. The 0613 on his thumb wasn't just BTS's debut date, it was a permanent reminder of where it all began. The army, Across his knuckles wasn't just fan service, it was a tribute, carved in skin, to those who stood by him when he couldn't even stand up for himself. But what most people didn't know was how central Jin had been in helping him reclaim those symbols. During their downtime in Japan, while preparing for their upcoming duet stage on Jin's solo tour, the two shared a quiet evening in their hotel room. It had been a long day of rehearsals. Jin was tuning his guitar and Jungkook was sitting on the floor, scrolling through photos from their early days. He suddenly asked, "Hyung, do you ever regret not getting tattoos?" Jin looked up, thoughtful, then smiled.
No.
"But sometimes I think if I ever got one, it would be because of you." Jungkook raised his eyebrows. "Me? You made them mean something," Jin replied. "They're not rebellion. They're your truth. That takes courage." Jungkook looked down at his arm, then at his chest, where the newest tattoo sat just over his heart. "I used to hate this part of me," he said quietly. "I thought I had to hide it. I thought if I showed too much of myself, people would leave." Jin leaned back against the wall and said, "But they didn't. You showed more and more people came. Because you were real. You were honest. And they needed that." There was a pause. Then Jin added, "I needed that too." It was a rare confession. Jin, always composed and selfless, rarely talked about his own struggles. But in that moment, it was clear Jungkook's bravery had inspired him too. Later that night, they took a selfie. No filters, no edits. Jungkook's tattoos were visible, his smile soft. Jin held up 2 fingers behind Jungkook's head, laughing like he always did. They uploaded it to Weverse with the caption, "Real ones.
No hiding anymore."
The post went viral in seconds. Armies flooded the comments with messages of support, many sharing their own stories about hiding who they were, tattoos, scars, identities, and how Jungkook's journey had made them feel seen. Some even admitted that Jin's unwavering support reminded them of people in their lives who had helped them heal, in an unexpected way. The story of Jungkook's tattoos had become more than just a personal evolution. It had become a symbol of what BTS has always stood for: vulnerability, strength, and unconditional support. Now, as Jin and Jungkook prepare to share the stage in Japan, not as idols bound by image, but as artists free in their expression, fans know that the moment won't just be about music. It'll be about the journey behind the music, a journey of shame turned into pride, of silence turned into song, and of 2 brothers, one who carried his truth on his skin, and one who made sure he never had to carry it alone. The announcement of Jin and Jungkook's upcoming duet on the Japan leg of the Run Seokjin_EP tour has already stirred waves of anticipation. But what fans might not realize is just how emotionally layered this moment will be for both of them. Especially for Jungkook, whose personal transformation, symbolized through his tattoos, will finally meet the world not in silence, but in song. Standing beside the one Hyung who always saw him clearly, as the date nears, fan forums and social media platforms are buzzing with theories about what the two will perform. Will it be a stripped-down acoustic ballad? A soulful track that speaks of growing pains, identity, and self-worth? Or will it be something entirely new, crafted specifically to honor the path they've walked both together and apart? Insiders close to the production have hinted at something raw and reflective, a performance that will not rely on high-tech effects or elaborate stage design, but rather focus on pure vocal emotion and intimate storytelling. If the rumors are true, Jin and Jungkook will open the duet with just a piano and guitar. No choreography, no backup dancers, just the weight of their bond in front of thousands of fans. What makes this collaboration even more powerful is the way Jungkook's visible transformation, tattoos included, will now be fully embraced on stage. No longer hidden, no longer controversial, but celebrated. And next to him, Jin, the one who offered quiet strength, not with grand gestures, but with soft reminders that you are not your ink. You are the soul behind it. During a recent rehearsal live stream, fans caught a brief moment when Jungkook adjusted his shirt, his chest tattoo clearly showing for the first time during tour prep. Jin noticed the camera angle, looked at Jungkook, and casually said with a grin, "You're glowing, Magne." Jungkook chuckled, but his eyes betrayed something deeper. Gratitude, relief. A silent thank you that didn't need to be spoken aloud. That's the essence of their relationship. Unspoken, yet deeply understood. The Hyung who saw beneath the skin. The Magne who found courage and acceptance. And now, as they prepare to share this new chapter with the world, it becomes clear that their story isn't just about 2 performers reuniting. It's about legacy, about evolution, about choosing authenticity over fear. and doing it together.